Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another MLB Trade Rumor video. This video is going to be like part 2/part 3 to videos that I've already done, but I think that this is good discussion for us, obviously down in the comments, but for the Marlins as a whole. Like I said, I have worked in the Marlins organization before. I'm a big fan of the Marlins, and they continue to put players out on the trading block. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the excess in pitching for the Marlins and what that means for other teams. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, but let's get right into this. Also, I just want to mention, how good is this lighting really quickly? Anyway, let's talk about it. So like I said, this is part 2 or 3 of the series that we've already done. Pablo Lopez is going to be in this video. We already talked about him and the trade rumors possibly to, I believe it was the Rangers. We talked about Edward Cabrera being traded, I think 1-for-1 with Rogers from the Rockies. But now the Marlins, they're kind of just pushing everybody out to the table, right? They are saying we are open to listening on pretty much everybody. So, MLB Trade Rumors reported today, just about an hour and a half ago, that yes, of course, Pablo Lopez is on the block, so is Edward Cabrera, but now Trevor Rogers and Jesus Lazardo are also on the trading block. And that's really interesting that 4 pitchers, I don't know exactly where Lazardo was last year. Was he a guy who, how many games did he play? 18, so he was kind of like half the year. These guys were all pitchers last year, right? Like, this was the core foundation of the Marlins pitching staff. Sandy, then Lopez, Cabrera, I guess, didn't pitch in a ton of games, only pitched in like 14. Rogers, Lazardo, like, this is their core group of guys. And they are just saying, yep, we're going to get rid of them. Or at least we're listening to the option of getting rid of them. It looks like their starting 5 next year will be Sandy, who, of course, won the Cy Young. He is a great pitcher. They are going to build their franchise around him. And I wouldn't say he's necessarily comparable to Jose Fernandez, but like that, I guess, is probably the closest comparison you can make in the Marlins organization. Rest in peace, man. He was my favorite pitcher. But he is their guy right now, right? Sandy is their guy. They also really like, at least in this article, Braxton Garrett, who's a very young pitcher. You know, he, I think, did okay last year. He's 24. All these guys are like 24 years old. But he did all right. I guess they want to keep him as part of the group. And then you've got Sixto Sanchez, Yuri Perez, and Max Meyer. So that is your 5 that it looks like the Marlins are going to keep and lock down. And if you've been paying attention to these series or this video, I just listed 9 pitchers that the Marlins have that are MLB quality pitchers. They also play in Miami, so they cannot do, you know, everything themselves. They are playing in Miami. They all have losses more than wins. Not that that matters, but they are not on a good team, right? None of these guys are on a good team because the Marlins need to figure it out. But that is 9 MLB, maybe all-star-like pitchers that the Marlins have available. Now, I know Sixto and Max Meyer were injured last year. Yuri Perez is not in the majors yet. He will probably make his major league debut this year. Obviously, Garrett and, Lazardo and Rogers, they will all grow a little bit and obviously change their style up a little bit. But 9 pitchers. How many teams do you know in the major leagues? I can think of maybe 2, maybe 3 that have a quality pitching staff of at least 3 or 4 pitchers, right? You've got the Rangers, you've got the Mets, you've got, I guess the Astros aren't the same anymore because Verlander left. The Yankees are pretty good, the Padres are pretty good, the Dodgers are pretty good. Is that it? I mean, there are not a ton of teams that are solid, right? So, bringing it all around, they want to put 4 guys on the block, and Pablo Lopez is the headliner of it. He will obviously be making the most noise in terms of value, in terms of where you want to go. He has been established as the second guy to Sandy, right? He started all of his starts last year, at least 32 of them. He might have missed 1 or 2 starts in there, I guess. 10-10 record, under a 4 ERA, 3.75. But again, you're playing with the Marlins. You cannot do that much. Even Sandy last year would give up, you know, a home run or 2 a game. Like, you're just going to get beat sometimes. And he threw 180 innings still, right? 180 innings. He had an ERA plus of over 100. He has for the last 3 seasons. Pablo Lopez is the guy. He will bring in the headlines. because he is in his prime. He is like I said, the second guy. He is an ace on probably half the league right now, I would say, or at least one or two, right? You've got other guys like Edward Cabrera, who we already talked about in a separate video going straight up, but now it looks like they're just listening to offers. He was 6-4 last year, a 3 ERA in 14 starts, 71 innings, had an ERA plus of 135. I mean, his whip was at a 1. That's a stud pitcher, and I know some of you guys have agreed that he will be a Cy Young Award winner, he will be an All-Star, he will be a future Hall of Famer. He is a talented young guy, and if he can stay healthy, I think he's got a really good chance. He improved dramatically from his age 23 to 24 season. Trevor Rogers as well, we've mentioned him before, did not do great last year actually. He was probably one of the worst pitchers in their rotation. He had a negative WAR, went 4-11 with a 5.5 ERA, 100 innings pitched, had an ERA plus of 74. But you look to his 2021 year when he was a Rookie of the Year candidate and an All-Star. That's the talent that you know he's available with. He's also a lefty, which is big. And then you've got Lazardo, who is also a lefty. And he was 4-7 last year. He is 24 years old, but he has played, in Oakland. He did fine there. He's been around the block, so he's an experienced left-hander. Every single one of those guys has the ability to go somewhere. And like I said, they're not all aces everywhere, but they're guys who the Marlins don't need, right? If you go back to the video I made on Friday about Reynolds going to the Rangers, I said that they were going to have to give up. The Rangers were going to have to give up pitching. And you guys disagreed with me. You said, nope, Leiter's off the table, Rocker's off the table. They are not giving up pitching. We need pitching, even though the Rangers have pretty much done the opposite of what the Marlins are. They went out and got everybody they wanted. The Marlins are trying to get rid of everybody. But you said, nope, that's not going to happen because teams need pitching. I agree 100% in the terms that teams need pitching. And the Marlins have so many guys that can go somewhere. The value of a player is obviously determined by how good they are on the field, but it's also determined by what is available based on other teams. I don't know a lot of teams that have 4 quality pitchers that are also half left-handed. Like, I mean, you've got Trevor Rogers, who's a lefty, Lazardo, who's a lefty, and then you've got probably one of a top 15 pitcher, maybe a top 20 pitcher in Lopez, and a future Hall of Fame All-Star Cy Young Award winner in Cabrera. Again, they're all young, going into their prime. If they stay in Miami, they're being wasted, right? So where I want to end this video is not specific trade rumor to a specific team, but the Marlins have a great opportunity here to get almost anybody they wanted, right? Like, they have questions around their infield still. Like, they want Segura to play third base. So what does that mean for Rojas? What does that mean for Wendell? Like, these guys are older. They need to go in a direction of younger. I know they have some guys in the minor league system that are okay. A lot of outfielders, actually. So you look at what the Marlins can do. This is a fantastic opportunity to probably exceed the value of these starting pitchers because they're left-handed, they're young, they're good, they have the potential, they've already shown the potential. If the Marlins don't go out, I'm not saying they need to go out and get Reynolds. I'm not saying they need to make these moves today. Maybe they start making these moves at the deadline. But they have the opportunity to go get not only talent to help them in the division, because that's already a tough division, but the Phillies improving. The Braves are going to be good for the next 7 or 8 years with all their extensions. The Marlins have been the bottom of the barrel. The Mets are obviously bolstering up as well with their pitching staff. The Marlins are not looking to make moves this year, but they have the opportunity to go get players, right? If they wanted to, 1, spend some money, but 2, trade these players for superstars now. Again, I don't know if you want to consider Reynolds a superstar or where you would put him in the conversation, but players like that caliber, you go trade these guys for players like that. Now all of a sudden you bring up these younger, obviously, pitchers like Perez, like Meyer. You get him situated. You bring up your minor league guys from the AA and AAA levels. They are talented. They add some superstars to that. I think the Marlins are in the conversation. And the other way about that, you've got talented pitchers. Go out, sell them for the farm system. Reboot your farm system again. The Marlins had a great farm system in 2021. Last year, a couple of guys have started to move up. Start replenishing that, right? They draft well. They have guys who they could get probably 2 to 3 top 10 prospects for on other teams. They could go get 4 or 5 just pretty solid players for somebody like Pablo Lopez or Cabrera. So there's 2 ways to do it. Either 1, spend some money and go, ship these guys out for superstars, or 2, totally rebuild. The Marlins are always caught in between the 2. They go get, a free agent or 2 that could shine. Then they start to work with their farm system, bring some guys up. They need to pick one of the 2 routes and go for it, right? I want to say do the superstar route. Otherwise, they're going to end up trading Sandy. They're going to trade a couple of other guys. They're going to waste all of these young, talented pitchers. But the best move would probably be to start over again, or at least, continue going down that path of get rid of these 4 pitchers, take your developing 5 guys that I listed off in this video, get 6, 7, 8 guys that are AAA guys or AA guys that are going to be available in the next year or 2, and go for it in 2 years. So that's what I would have to say about the Marlins as a whole. I really hope that they do something instead of just hold on to these guys and waste them, unless they, again, go get talent somewhere else. But this is a trade rumor video, so we're talking about these 4 guys that are traded. Anyways, the Marlins are listening to everybody, so we'll see what ends up happening. I would love to know your thoughts, of course, as well. That's why I make these videos. So let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.